This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks show number 439, recorded on April 2nd, 2020. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home. News, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from what was a beautiful Bellevue, Nebraska. Mike, you've been outside, I think it dropped 40 degrees.
Really yesterday, banner day, right? Like one of the best days we've had in Omaha. Probably was the best day. And then today, just kind of rainy, a little bit colder. It's still not too bad. But for the last week or so, I haven't had my AC or heat on. Today, tonight we'll turn it back on because it might dip a little bit and keep the house.
Actually, had the air on a little bit. We're going to have to cut it back over to heat tonight. I think it's going to get down to the 30s, so a little below freezing. But that's okay. It'll warm right back up again. We got on the deck last night. We made ourselves a really fantastic HelloFresh chicken spaghetti meal. It was so delightful. Why people don't do HelloFresh, I do not know. By the way, during this pandemic, they are still delivering.
I thought you said white people don't do HelloFresh, not why people. And I was really confused. Like, he said why people don't do that.
Jim, why are you a racist?
Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. All right.
Yeah. Yikes! It's now HelloFresh. Anyways, made a great HelloFresh meal and enjoyed that. Bottle of Josh wine. Have you had Josh wine?
Yes, love Josh wine. Yep.
Yeah. So red blend, and then. A bottle of wine, it never ends well for me. It's just the wine is so good, and then it's like, I gotta have a cigar. And then Sarah made some old fashions with. We had some Jefferson's Oceans, which is a bourbon, really nice bourbon, very very delicious, very expensive, but some of the best. Maybe the best old fashioned I've ever had. It's a $25 old fashioned at any place here in town that makes it with Ocean, which is a little expensive for a cocktail. But we enjoyed that on the deck last night. Weather was beautiful, not so beautiful out there, but the show notes will be really beautiful this year. So this time, head out to theaverageguy.tv/HGG439. Grade my transition there. How was that? A, B, C, or D on the transit?
I'll give you a B+.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Don't forget, you can also download the show, or actually you can stream it on our mobile app. Head out to homegadgetgeeks.com. Download that. Just good to have on your phone. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. It doesn't download, but it just streams. But it's the easiest way to listen to a Spreaker is right up there, and it's streaming on that right now. Maybe you're doing something and you just can't get to the podcast, or you don't have it downloaded, or you want to listen live. Best way to do that is on the app, homegadgetgeeks.com. Big thanks to Dave McCabe, who came on last week. By the way, we're bringing Dave back in just a couple weeks, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, something like that, for a big lawn show. So he kind of touched on it a little bit, and he's like, dude, I've got so much more. So we've got Mark coming on. I want to say Mark is, I need to look at the dates here. We've got next week, John from Unraid is back. So that's pretty cool. An all Unraid show. Yeah. Next week, all Unraid. Then Mark is coming back, barbecue. So we're going to be talking kind of the big spring barbecue show. And holy cow, nothing like a pandemic to get guys barbecuing. Like,
no kidding.
Grilling, smoking. Have you seen, is it showing up on Facebook for you? Well,
because I talk about it all the time at work, and so all of a sudden my boss was texting me like, hey, send me some of those recipes. Like, how do I do this? He just started. So he's had a Traeger for a year, but never really got into it. And so he just started last week. So I gave him the basics, a pulled pork and a rack of ribs to start off easy. And we had so much fun messaging back and forth. Although, all of his texts were just making my mouth water, and it made me want to get into it. And all my new parts for my Green Mountain Grill came in. So I'm going to get it all cleaned out, redone this weekend, and hopefully I get that thing fired back up. It's been killing me not to be able to smoke over the last few months.
I'm pretty sure big meat smoking is the most economical way to do it, right? And so during a pandemic, why would you not want to, get pulled pork or brisket or something along those lines, right?
And the best part about the pulled pork is you can make so many things out of it. You don't get tired of it because you make pulled pork sandwiches, then you make tacos the next night. You can put it in a quesadilla. You can put it in a breakfast burrito. You can just do all sorts of things with pulled pork. So I don't get tired of it. I make tubs of it, and it stays around. It lasts for a while too in the fridge. Yeah. Or you can put it in the freezer. We'll put a whole bunch in the freezer. Yeah. It stays even better.
We did pulled pork for Sarah's birthday a couple weeks ago. So delicious. We ended up giving away a bunch to the kids. just not enough for us to eat that.
Yeah.
That many times. So yeah, Mark's coming in on the 16th, 23rd. Erin Lawrence is back, and she's been doing some great stuff on that. I posted it on Twitter. She did a no knead bread recipe, which is super famous. Everybody done it before, but maybe appropriate for the time. So Erin Lawrence is back. Nathaniel Lindley's coming back on. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of education and technology. Though their whole world has changed.
That's going to be an extremely interesting conversation right now.
I think so. And as we get to the end of April, I think we're going to know even more, right?
Well, even my boys, right? They're 2 and they're 3. Their school is doing Zoom class in the morning for their normal. They have like a routine from 9 to 10. They call it line time. And so we Zoom them in every morning, 9 to 10, and they sit there and they interact with their class. They're 2 and 3. The weirdest part, they don't even bat an eye at that's a weird thing to them. Yeah. Like, yeah, just video call. Why wouldn't I? I mean, I FaceTime my grandparents all the time. I FaceTime everyone. Like, this is just normal to me. It's weird for Hannah and I. They think it's totally normal. So it's been really cool to see. So I'm really excited for that conversation.
Yeah. So Nathaniel's coming in. I'm working on Chris Nessie. Chris has been on before, but he also does House of Ed Tech. And so another tech guy. By then we should have a really good idea of kind of what's working and what's not and where the schools are going, and what kind of things are going on. So that's coming up on the 30th. May 7th, Dave is back. Dave McCabe is back to talk a little bit about lawn tech. And so we'll take a maybe shift away a little bit from what's going on in the world to more what's going on in your yard. And then on the 14th, Rich Hay is back. And so excited to talk about him. Mike, the whole world has changed around conferences. As we think Rich usually comes in after a Microsoft conference and we talk like that whole world different, right? There's no conferences. Everything's virtual. Everybody's trying to figure out how to do these virtual conferences, right? And I think it's different than just streaming it. That's like, you can't take a stage presentation and stream it and make that a virtual conference. I think we got to do things different, right?
100%. We're in the same boat. We do a lot of, first of all, we host a lot of events for our advisors all over the country. And then we have our big annual conference that is in April, got canceled obviously, but now we're moving a lot to webinars. But exactly what you just said, the marketing team is like, okay, can't just take what we were going to do and put it online. It's got to be a different format, make sure it rolls better, because it's not going to be, it's just different, right? Yeah. It's still a very capable medium, but you have to approach it in a different way.
Yeah. So stay close to what's going on here. We got a bunch of interesting things. Everything's booked solid between now and the middle of May. So regardless of what's going on, if you're locked in or you're having to go in, if you're still listening on the road, or you had to figure out, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, you've had to figure out how to listen now that you're not on the road. That's kind of can become a big challenge. We've still got shows for you going on. We're gonna be keep doing this for you. I should say I also appreciate our Patreon subscribers who this month have continued to be faithful. I know some of you may need to take some time off. No pressure, no stress, whatever. From a Patreon perspective, probably more important now than ever for what we're doing here on the network. So if you want to contribute to what we're doing here, head out to theaverageguy.tv/Patreon, and you'll see some options. There's a $5 option if you just want to jump in and help join and support the network and the things that we do here. Mike, you a golf guy at all?
Big golf guy. Well, I wish I had more time for it. Let's just say that. So I played on my high school team, but ever since probably around end of college, just the time for it has gone down. But love golf. Whenever I can get out there, it's my favorite thing to do. Just played a beautiful course actually in San Diego, up in Temecula for my buddy's bachelor party. I mean, you can put a golf course anywhere in that area of California, and it's just gorgeous. The scenery makes it. You know, right? You could be in a guy's backyard, like, man, this is gorgeous.
Most of the time, it is their backyard.
And it was pretty cheap, like compared to a course here.
Really?
Like to get that beauty here. I mean, I think it was only $45 a round for 18 with a cart. I mean, that's hard to do in Omaha. Yeah. And this was, I thought, a pretty gorgeous course. But apparently, it was
Temecula, like, right? Is that where you? Yeah.
Yep. And but apparently, it was more of like the low end course there. You could have fooled me. Like maybe in California, you're used to something different, but gorgeous scenery, which just made it a lot of fun to play. But yeah, big golf guy. Why do you ask?
Well, spring's on the way, right? And a lot of golfers, especially here in the Midwest, in California, maybe golf year round, but we start thinking about golf. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see, like if they're ever going to let us back on the courses, but maybe it's time to improve your golf swing in the backyard. It just may go out there and hit a few practice balls. We are partnering with Dan over at Birdie Crazy Golf. They're at birdiecrazygolf.com. They've put together a kind of a ultimate guide for perfecting your golf swing. And I'm going to drop that in the show notes there. I'm not a big golfer. I went through the guide. I was kind of like, man, I'm a skier. So maybe I need to find the ultimate skiing guide. You like golfing. if this is something, maybe you got a little extra time on your hand. We're going to talk a little bit about micro workouts a little bit later in the show. If you're a golfer and you're missing it, maybe this is the time to get out in your backyard. Just every hour, pop out there, swing that golf club for a couple times, right? Just kind of work on it. Wouldn't it be a great time to work on technique? Wouldn't you think so?
I do it in the basement. Actually, I have my golf clubs right over here, and I just have a little tiny pad that I just practice my swing. I can't hit it here in the basement. I don't have a net set up or anything, but I do the same exact thing right here in my basement. Yeah, it's a perfect time to be doing that.
So one of the things when I was over at his site, one of the things I saw was this Bushnell Tour Jolt Golf laser rangefinder, and like everything else, I was kind of like, oh my God, have we gotten crazy on the technology? And Mike, I haven't followed this at all. I'm sure when you were golfing, maybe all this stuff was there, but the technology around this stuff is crazy.
It's super interesting. Well, to see, so just for a little bit of context here, so this is a laser rangefinder. You look through a magnifying glass, essentially a telescope, and you press a button and it laser finds it. You used to, in the old school, you would look through a telescope, right? This little tiny monocle, and it would have imprinted in the actual telescope was almost like you would see on a rifle scope. So you would have to line up the tee with the top of you'd have to line it up, and it would give you a distance of where you're at. These are really cool. But then, the crazy part is, so all of these golf companies, all golf courses spend a bunch of money putting GPSs into the carts themselves. So your cart has GPS, and so you just pull up next to your ball. It tells you how far away you are. Usually it has a map of the course. It's really nice. So that was the first time that these started to take a hit as far as, does it make sense for me to spend $200 when most courses, especially if it's a course you play all the time, has the range. Then the next step, though, that really these guys took a hit was when now, I have 3 different apps on my phone that are golf GPS apps. And then I have my watch, and I golf with my watch, and I just look at my watch. How far away am I? I don't even need to look at anything. I don't need to laser anything. Look down at my watch, and I can see exactly how far away I am, distance to bunker. I do my whole scorecard on my watch. I never write anymore on the scorecard. So these have become, it's crazy. Like the technology in golf. And first of all, golf is also a sport that the technology catches on really fast, because it attracts higher income players who are willing to just, the money people throw at golf is crazy. So all these tools are extremely cool. But what I like about the whole watch app and everything is it's forcing Bushnell and some of those guys to really innovate. And it brings the price down a little bit. There used to not be any competitor to those. So they used to be even way more expensive than $200, especially with Garmin golf watches. They used to be $1,000 things. So it's causing a lot of competition, which is really cool in the market. So I'm very intrigued. I'll be heading over to birdiescrazygolf.com to check out some of their other. So they have an ultimate guide to the perfecting your golf swing.
Yeah.
Looks like is one of the things I'll probably check out to see if there's any practice tips for my basement swinging during quarantine.
Yeah, check out the site. There's some gadgets there as well. I was kind of interested. Again, I'm not into golf, so I spent some time looking through the gadgets, and I was like, holy crap, I need to yikes. Now it could be a while before we're back on the course.
I think most courses are still open.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I saw. I've been seeing Snapchats of
super easy, right?
Super easy. You're not playing. You just go out by yourself. And their groups of 4 is the most they allow anyway. So it's less than 10.
birdiecrazygolf.com. Check it out. There'll be a link in the show notes as well if you want to check it out. And if you're a golf guy, let us know in our Discord group, theaverageguy.tv/Discord, or on the Facebook side, theaverageguy.tv/Facebook. It's that time of the year. And if you're into I'm not, but if you're into that, we'll have, what I'd love to know is what kind of tech you're using around that. Cause I had no idea until we started having Mark and Mike on the show and we started talking about grilling. I had no idea grilling and smoking was as technical as it was.
Yeah.
And I've learned a ton. Kevin Schoon over in the chat says golf course is closed in his area. So I just think it's a great time if you can get out in your backyard, do some swings, before we dive into the show, Mike, I think let's talk a little bit about fatigue that's going on right now as we're home all day. You would think this is the best thing since sliced bread and peanut butter. I get to be at home. I get to do whatever I want, so to speak. But we're I don't know about you. I am cranking out more work than I ever have. And we got to find some things. I think we need to find some things to not be working all the time, because it's super easy to do it, right?
I was just going to say, for me, it's the lines are very blurred right now between your work and your home life, especially if you've got, kids at home that you need to be watching. And so then so then you're working later into the night because to make up for time during the day that maybe you were distracted by the kids, things like that, or for any reason you're distracted. So then even more so like my hours at night, and then that bleeds into much longer than I thought. It's just everything's a little, you're right. The balance is off a little bit. And then it's another thing of getting used to everyone's new schedule, right? Like what works best. It's just no longer 8 to 5 is the time to get a hold of people. There's sometimes people are starting their day way earlier because they're early risers. Right. And so it's been interesting to try and figure out the balance, and even to schedule a meeting is extremely interesting.
Yeah. And I'm finding like this idea of tech fatigue where I'm in the same spot with the same tech. I got 8 monitors down here. We spent some time this week. I think Brian Hour started a conversation on Twitter about, by the way, lots of conversations tech-wise going on Twitter. So follow me at Jay Collison. If you want to stay like the group, we have Discord. Maybe that's not your thing. We have Facebook. Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you can join us on Twitter at Jay Collison. There's a lot of great conversations. Tony Rayner is a legend on Twitter. Legend. Let's just put it that way. But that being said, I got these 8 monitors down here now, and I have this big one. I've got this Dell 34 Ultra Sharp behind me. I'm finding at the end of the day, I'm pretty tired. Now, what I've been doing is this concept that I just made up. Maybe somebody's already said it. It's called these micro workouts. So instead of waking up in the morning and giving 45 minutes to a long workout and getting all sweaty and then all that other stuff, I'm splitting up my workouts throughout the day on kind of low tech things. So pull-ups, push-ups, walking around the block. I think I probably mentioned that last week. I started another successful week, keeping track of it in an Excel spreadsheet. Little bit of workouts throughout the day. I'm taking a walk with Samantha. One of the things that's motivating me though is I'm starting to track more and more of that on my watch, or more and more of it in Excel, so that I can compare today to yesterday. And I kind of know, oh, am I keeping up? I give myself Saturday and Sunday off so I can kind of rest, recuperate, kind of get back, right? This may be a time to break out that Fitbit. Maybe you bought it and it's been sitting on the desk. And if you can, it doesn't mean you have to get the steps all at once. And it doesn't mean you have to go around the block. We were out for a walk, but Sammy stopped. She was playing Pokemon Go. And I just started doing circles and started walking in circles. And you look stupid. I get it, right? But you got to get some movement in. You got to get some things. You can go out and do some yard work. If it's spring where you're at, or fall where you're at, maybe, or maybe it never is spring or fall, get outside, get some work done. Get away from the screens, get away from your work a little bit. It's just too easy to do that. Mike, have you found any apps to help or technology? We talked a smidge about it last week, but every week is like a month at this point.
Yeah.
In the things we find. Anything you found this week that may be helpful?
Not necessarily new. I, like you, have been tracking things a lot better. So we've actually gotten really into biking because the boys, it's one way to get the boys out of the house and let them just kind of be in the fresh air, right? So I put them in a burly thing that pulls behind my bike, and we go for just a long bike ride, right? Get out and do that. And my one gripe about the Apple Watch bike, I need the option to, hey, tell the watch that I'm hauling 65 extra pounds behind me, so that should count for a lot more, right? There's a reason I'm struggling to get up these hills. But tracking all my workouts on the watch. So technology wise, no, I'm kind of the same as you though. Little things throughout the day. I have a makeshift pull-up bar over here. Same thing as you. I'm not doing the videos, right? Because I can just spontaneously go do 20 push-ups. Yeah. Now I do want to get better at tracking that side of things. I haven't done that. It's a good idea. I figure, I'm right in front of all my tech. I could just pull up an Excel sheet and track that pretty well. I'm sure there's an app for that as well.
Yeah. Whatever motivates you, right? I think it's that thing. You got to find your thing. There's a Peloton app. By the way, every company that sells fitness equipment now has their own app. Peloton is a great one to do. $13 a month. I ended up canceling mine just because I wasn't using it. I was doing my own thing here. I wasn't finding it convenient. So I just canceled it for now. I don't know about you, but I went through my credit card statement and I went through the bank account and said, okay, what subscriptions do I have that need to be different, that need to be zero? One of the ones, I'll be honest, we talked about at the beginning of the show, I thought about canceling was HelloFresh. And then I got an email from them talking about all the service work that they're doing and all the free meals that they're providing during this time. I'm like, oh, why did you do that? Now I have to it was, you know.
Well, the one app I was excited to use that I never got to, because the big thing for me was this was going to be my first. So I don't know if I mentioned it. I got into hockey, right? Picked up hockey as kind of that was going to be my new sport to play, get out. And so my league was supposed to start this week, actually, and they're pushing it back till May. But there's a really cool app if you're into skating and hockey called Hockey Tracker. And you just wear your watch. And then at the end, it tells you, I mean, how fast you were skating and how many calories you burned. And it's really defined for hockey. So that was one app that I thought I was going to be able to start using this week, but I haven't been able to.
Couple comments from the chat room. Speaking of Tony, I invoked his name and he just showed up. No jewelry or watches at work, right? It has to be clean shaven. So yeah, in Tony's case, he's still going to work, right? I mean, we've got folks who are continuing to do healthcare workers who are continuing to have to go into work. I think we talked about this last week, like the whole world, it was assumed everybody was coming home and they had nothing to do. And I was like, guys, there's still work to get done. Yeah. Like I can't watch, I'm not going to sit around and watch Netflix all day. Of course, Tony's out still doing great work in the things that he's doing. Joe says I stopped wearing my Android watch so I can wash my hands up to my elbows. Okay, take the watch off. Take the watch off if you want to do it that way. Tony says it seems to be such a good time with your family when you talk about HelloFresh. I have like HelloFresh is, I mean, we cook it together as a family, and now Sammy and I cook it together, and Sarah makes the drinks, and she's a great bartender. So we just have a great time doing it. It has been this, if there's anything that we benefited from this, it's the extra family time. I know you're getting it too, right?
Yeah, I am. And actually, so when you said family, I'm like, well, duh, Mike, there's a new thing that I'm using, but it's for the kids, not for me. And actually Amazon is running a really big sale right now. For $69, you can get a kid's Fire tablet. So it comes with, it's the 7-inch tablet, comes with the big blue or pink, case for it that's kid proof. So usually I think that's $100 or maybe even more than that. And it's down to $69 right now. Now they're behind. So those won't come till mid April. But so I did order 2 of those. And I haven't told Hannah yet. So I'm gonna have to ease that into the conversation. And also a subscription to ABC Mouse. Now, I don't know if ABC Mouse is the best one. So this is the, kind of I'll call it a geeks challenge out to you guys. Maybe if you're a parent out there who has a better suggestion for me, but ABC Mouse is essentially this learning platform, right? It's a digital learning platform it's targeted towards preschool to 2nd grade kids, which is my kid's wheelhouse, right? I will say, so I sign them up. I'm using 2 iPads that I already have. And I tested out with the boys today. It's not intuitive for a kid. They still need a lot, even like when you tell them, because you set up your kids and you say what age they are and it builds a curriculum for them. But like the buttons they need to press to get to each activity is not clear. So I'm not extremely impressed with it. They have a month free, so you can go out and try it for a month free. So I am open to other ideas. If you guys have any apps that you use for your kids, I want pure educational. I don't want even just a blend. I want like pure educational, because this is really going to be targeted for, I have these meetings throughout the day, calls, right? I really need them to, full quiet for about 45 minutes. And so that's what I'm using it for, is just little chunks throughout the day. And I don't really want them getting used to playing games yet. For them, I want them to not know that exists, because they're still pretty young. But yeah, so those 2 things, Amazon having that sale, plus ABC Mouse also having their 1 month free, we can try to test them out.
Yeah. I think a lot of software companies are doing that as well, where they're providing their services like, hey, just use it free for the next couple months. I think it's a great gesture.
It is. And Mark Robinson has a great point in the chat. Those kids tablets, when you order the kids version on Amazon, they have an unlimited warranty for 3 years. So screen breaking, cracking them, throwing them across the room, whatever. And already at $69, that's already really reasonable, right? Yeah. Way cheaper than grabbing an iPad for them. And they don't really need an iPad. So Amazon has everything they'll need.
I bought one of the kids ones on sale, like, it's like $50. And then I had to look up how to crack it so that I could get past all the
restrictions.
Yeah, all the restrictions that were on it. Well, jump in our Discord group, the averageguy.tv/Discord. By the way, that link had been broken for a while. For some reason, there was a weird redirect on it. And I was on Ask the Podcast Coach last Saturday morning and directed somebody into it. And they were like, hey, this thing doesn't work. And I don't know how long it's been broken that way. So if you try to get to our Discord group and whatever, you got a weird screen, Try again. It's all fixed. Christian got me set up. I just had one space in there that wasn't supposed to be there, and it threw the whole thing off. So if you've been trying to get into the Discord group and it didn't work and you're like, screw that Collison guy, he doesn't know what he's doing, go ahead. Let's come back and let's get that discussion going. Maybe we can get some stuff around apps and kind of help in this scenario, get Mike helped as well. Mike, we've been spending a bunch of time having fun, actually, as we've turned our GPUs onto this folding project. We talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago. Really, folding at home, protein folding, been around a while. The idea is hopefully this will help in when they're coming up with a vaccine for this COVID. Who knows if they will or not. We've turned this into a big, gigantic competition. If you're interested in joining us, I'll just say head out to foldingathome.org. Sign up for team 243-306. There's, I don't know how many of us now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is more than last time, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. About 18 of us out there that have joined this group. Mark Robson's number 1 right now. John Biggs, number 2. I'm 3, and you are 4. But, man, these numbers can move pretty – to Joe Ski's 5. These can move pretty quick. I see Chris Kenny out there. Ken is out there. Kevin Schoonover, I recognize Justin Simmons. Justin, come on, crank it up, dude. And he's slacking over there. I thought he was going to do better. So if you want to do that, it's actually pretty easy. You can give CPU or GPU power, give as much as or little as you want. Mike, I think there's low, medium, and all the way turned on modes, right? That takes different power levels and such.
Yeah, and really, I've noticed the only difference is if I think it would be a power bill thing because, for example, right now on this machine, the machine I'm podcasting on, hopefully you guys don't notice, is folding on full power GPU and CPU. So it does the one thing folding does really well compared to Blink is it does just take whatever's extra. So I don't think I have any trouble. I could never notice that I'm folding unless I guess I haven't tried to fire up a game while I've been folding, but you can never tell you're folding on your machine. At least I haven't been able to.
Yeah. Unlike Bitcoin, it seems to be a little more forgiving about using it at the same time. Let me encourage you this. I've thought a lot about this. Like, it does take power to do this. This isn't free. Right. And depending on where things go with this current situation, it may or may not be wise to have everything turned up full blast all the time on your power. It will consume more power, right? I've turned mine down a little bit. They were full blast, and I brought them back to medium, just kind of like I get competitive sometimes and I push them back up to full because I want to win. But this is consuming power. These are dollars. You're donating power dollars, right? To this. So be responsible in this. And, if you can do it, do it. If you can't, that's fine. We just want to give folks an opportunity. And I wanted to recognize everybody who jumped in to help. I think it's been a little fun. There's a couple, we got a couple 6 millions and a couple 4 millions and a couple 1 millions. And it's super fun, Mike. I've just enjoyed the time. The best part is the conversations we've had in the Discord group about it. And it's just been fun to kind of talk about it.
Healthy competition.
Yeah. So if you still want to join us on that, would you add anything else to it before I wrap it for that?
No, I mean, this was just going to lead into kind of I bought a new piece of hardware for the first time ever. Well, not ever, for the first time in a very long time. And it kind of connects to this, but I think I have found if you are an average guy out there and you're looking for a GPU, a new GPU, right? A current series GPU. I think for the average guy, I kind of found the best one to go with, did a lot of research into this. So I did not buy a GPU for folding. I can joke that I did, but I needed a GPU in the Unraid box to do some transcoding for Plex. And then I still needed one in this machine. So it was kind of like, well, if I'm going to get another one, I'm going to upgrade this one a little bit in my machine. I'm not going to go crazy though and buy the top of the line graphics card. So what I have found is, and just keep this kind of a few simple points, is with the new GPUs, and I'm talking about strictly NVIDIA. AMD I'm not as familiar with, but if you're looking for an NVIDIA GPU, there's really, a few new cards. You got the 2080, you have the 2070, and then they have this card in the middle. It's called the 1660. There's a few iterations of the 1660, but the difference being between the 1660 and like a 1060 is the new 1660 is on the Turing architecture, which is the new architecture that even the 20 series cards use. So the 20 series cards use this Turing architecture. It's got, for if you're a streamer, the NVENC encoder that it has for encoding your stream is comparable and almost better than the old H.264 standard. So it's going to look really good when you're using it for encoding. But the Turing architecture is also really good. So the only really difference between the 1660 and the 20 series cards is it doesn't have ray tracing. Ray tracing is like the new hot thing in gaming. Admittedly, a lot of games don't even take full advantage of it yet, and a lot of us don't have monitors that would even look that good on it. So for the average guy, if you don't need ray tracing, this thing is a really affordable card. And here's what I'll tell you. So there's the regular 1660, then there's a 1660 Super, and then there's a 1660 Ti. The 1660 Super is the sweet spot right now. I think you can get them for about $220, brand new, so not that bad. It has the Turing architecture. The difference between the Super and the regular 1660 is it uses what is it? GDDR6? Is that what it is? 6 RAM instead of 5? Yeah, DDR6. Sorry, not G. Oh, I'm adding the G in there. DDR6 RAM instead of DDR5 RAM, which actually in testing has made a really big difference. And then the only step up to the Ti is still a little bit of performance, but still uses DDR6 RAM. So the performance-wise, the Super, between the Super and the Ti, saves you about $30-$40, and most people aren't going to notice the difference between those two. So I think it's really the sweet spot of the latest generation. Right, it just came out last year. 1660 Super might fit the needs for most guys who want to do. It does 1440p gaming on medium high settings, but really it's known as like the 1080p best card. If you're gaming at 1080p, this thing will crank out the frames. You'll get great frame rate on it, so great for gaming. So it'll be interesting when Ryan says GDDR is right. So maybe, okay.
I thought you said GDR. I thought that's what you said the first time.
GDDR. Okay, there we go.
Doesn't matter.
So
let's split the difference.
So I think that'll be I think that's a great card if you guys are looking for a current series card to get into. So I'll be interested to see. I am going to throw it up folding because that's going to go in this rig that I'm podcasting on in gaming. Michael said it's $265 at Best Buy right now. So there's a couple different versions of it. Which one did I order? That's a really good question. I think I went with MSI. No, I went with the Asus Strix GeForce GTX 1660. The naming convention was super weird because everyone's like, well, what's the difference here? Because this is GTX compared to the 20 series card, which is different. Like, well, it's better than the 1060 series. It's on the Turing architecture, but it doesn't have ray tracing, so we don't want to mix it up between those two. That's why it's not a 20 series card.
It's kind of in between. Right?
It's right in between. I think it's a great sweet spot for the 1060s were getting a bit, just old, right? Those hadn't been updated in 3 or 4 years. So the 1660s are great little. And I would go for the Super because the Super is only about $20 more than the regular, and you're getting a bump up to the next generation of RAM, which is important.
Okay. Good recommendation.
Oh, and just yes, I did cancel the Zotac. So as fast as I ordered it, I swapped it because I figured out that I didn't need the Ti and that the Super was going to do just as well for me, and I could save some bucks. So
yeah, if you did, you could throw that on at the team. I should recognize the team. We quickly moved up the charts and we're under 2,000 now. So that's at stats.foldingathome.org. And then of course, just put our team//243-306 if you want to join us there. And then Mark turned me on to this folding.extremeoverclocking.com. And then there's some team information as well. I won't read it because it's super boring, but it's got a really cool graphic associated with it. So it kind of looks at our team's processing throughout the week. And when it's dropping, it's because I've stopped for whatever reason and stopped, I've paused or shut some things down or whatever. And so you can see kind of the dips in the charts as well. So kind of cool that I follow these every day, just kind of watch them along with everybody else, just to kind of track and see what we're doing. Again, thanks for jumping on the team. No pressure there, by the way. No pressure to buy those cards right now. Like, it's a tough time for a lot of people. And so I want to be careful, do it. If you have money, great. But we want to help. By the way, it still goes out. If you're going through this time, you've been a listener and you're going through this time and you need somebody to talk to, reach out to us a little bit. This isn't a time, this tough times on people right now. And we don't want this to be tough on you. So if you need somebody to talk to, reach out to us. Just let us know. Jim@theaverageguy.tv, and we'd love to have a conversation if that's what you need to kind of make it through the day. Mike, a couple habits have been changing for me. I mentioned the micro workouts, but a couple like unintended consequences of making the technology switch over to coming at home. And one is like 2FA off my watch now. Like I never used it before, but now that I have to authenticate on this computer that's not my work laptop, I am constantly having, because we use Microsoft 2FA to get that done. I am constantly, dude, and I'm
So how does that work then? Like what app is that? It's on your watch.
Yeah, so it's the Microsoft app, the Microsoft two-factor app. It's not what it's called, but you know.
Interesting. Okay, because when I saw this in the notes and I instantly went and looked because I use LastPass Authenticator. That's the app I used because the great part about LastPass Authenticator is it backs up to LastPass.
Yep.
So you actually do have a backup of those codes. But that does not have, I'm surprised they don't, but does not have a watch. I would love to just click that and scroll through all of my numbers and get the number I need because I am using that all the time.
Well, in this case, all it's saying is to me is dismiss or approve. So it's that approval message you get. Hey, I see you're trying to log in. Is that you? And you say yes.
Got it. So this is just for that Microsoft account. This is not for
it's our Microsoft account at work. No.
Yeah. Okay.
But it would be worth looking into. I'm doing so much more 2FA on stuff. It would be worth looking into. I think spending some time like, what else could I do on my watch that I'm not currently doing on that? Because I got it with me. You know, it's just, again, it was just a change. It was a habit change. I almost never use, because I go into work and I didn't need 2FA at work. Like when I'm behind the firewall, I'm fine, right?
Are you using the Hey Siri functionality anymore than you were before? Oh, and I just kicked off both my phone and
no, but are you?
Yes, 100%. Because the main reason is because I'm wearing my AirPod Pros pretty much all day. Right, for calls and everything that I'm doing, I'm wearing those. Number one, the first thing I love about the Pros is that they announce a text message to you and will read it to you. But, you know, when you're in the comfort of your own house, it's not awkward anymore. I'm constantly using, hey, yes, lady, send a text here, do this, what's on my calendar, all that sort of stuff. And it's been super helpful. And then also I started doing it because we were on the bikes and I'd wear the AirPod Pros on the bike. And I was like, wait, I can just say, you can just say it and it works. And it works even while I'm cruising pretty fast on the bike. I thought the wind noise would break it up, but it doesn't. So, but around the home, I've been using it a ton.
Okay. Yeah, again, and I'm kind of thinking, I've been thinking through I'm doing my flash briefing now in the morning. So I get up, I make a cup of coffee just like I always did before when I went into work. So I'd make a latte. Then I used to grab that cup and I just take it into work with me. Well, now I'm bringing it down here and going to work and I'm brewing. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I'm brewing perked coffee, which is delicious, by the way. Like, I'm not sure I'm ever going to go back to work coffee. Like, I think I'm taking my perk to work.
Yeah.
And when we go back for it. But but as I'm brewing the coffee, I'm listening to my flash briefing, which I kind of got away from, but now that news is so important, right? You know, it's so now that we have the Echo Show 5, of course, there's video. Amazon has really opened up their advertising on it to, hey, ask for this and ask for that and ask for these and do recipes. And how do I do this? And Sammy does conversions on it, right? So we're finding we're using that piece more, but I'm using like a really low speed technology that I didn't think I'd ever come back to. It's called sticky notes. And it's not the
like physical paper.
No.
Okay. I was like,
the one on Windows 10, right? There's a sticky note app that's there, and you can do some amazing things with it, like write things down. Like and I had been old school. Here it is right here. You know, I'm old school on my desk, and I tried this at work. I tried to get totally digital at work. It never worked for some reason. I don't know why, but it's working here. Like having a digital list available on my desktop. I think it's synced. It's worked this time, which has been amazing to me that I've made a switch off of paper, and I'm still a list guy. That's how I'm most productive. Have you done anything from a productivity standpoint that's changed things for you?
OneNote has been, I have really, it all started for me when I transitioned roles at work, and I said I use it as an opportunity to really kind of change up my organization. And the one thing I love about OneNote is, quick tip here. You guys know if you go up to there's an option in the top right, you open up a new page in one of your notebooks, and you can go to the top and you can select one of your Outlook meetings, and it all of a sudden populates that page with the date, the meeting title, all the attendees with hyperlinks to their email, and then gives you a spot to just start typing notes. So right away, within seconds of me starting a meeting, I can go to OneNote, click that. It gives me the template to use, save it, and then it even has an email this page button. So if I'm taking notes for the team, I can just click that, and it fills in the email even with all your notes, along with all the email addresses of the people that were in the meeting, because it pulled it from your Outlook. So I love OneNote. Has been huge for me. I've been flagging it as a task in OneNote, which then shows up in Outlook as well. So I've really been making OneNote just work for me. And it really has. It's been absolutely fantastic. It took me a lot of time to figure out how I wanted my notebook set up, and I love how you can do sub tabs and all sorts of things. But that's been my go-to organization, which has been a recent switch and a very welcome switch, because I really, organization for me has always been something I've kind of struggled with, especially for like task management, things like that. I was big, I had a notebook like that, right? A spiral notebook.
Mm-hmm.
And, but then if you don't remember, if you have a lot of meetings in a few days, you don't look back enough pages in the morning, you maybe will miss one of the tasks that you wrote down.
No, I've tried to switch digital. I've talked about this on the show for 10 years. I've tried to switch digital from time to time, and I get digital and then I hate it. And then I come back and like, I don't know, for whatever reason, this is working for me now. I've tried it several times. I'm a weekend. We'll see next week. Maybe I'll sell it like you sell equipment after you buy it. But so far so good. It's been a boost to my productivity. A couple of comments from the chat room. Back to the coffee. Brian says, all I do is Perk, which is awesome. Perk coffee is so freaking good. Like, I'm a cream and sugar guy when I'm at work because the coffee's so bad, but Perk, you can just do it black and it's just delicious. He also says goes with me to work in a Yeti thermos. Super good.
Yep.
John takes 29 grams of home roasted coffee with him and brews it on the AeroPress at work. Kevin says Microsoft Teams, OneNote, To Do. That's a good combo to have together.
How long has Teams been out? I just need to ask, because this is like a revelation to me, and it has been the best thing ever. The call quality on its own, like, especially because our whole organization uses it. Like, I almost wonder why we have phones in our office anymore, because it's so easy. The video, the audio works great, the chat functionality, each team having their own page, like wiki page, where we keep track of all of our links, and it is just so perfect, and it's all in one place. I don't know.
I'm liking Teams.
I love it.
I was skeptical when it came into the enterprise. We switched over to it pretty fast, and it just in our enterprise changed to it pretty fast, which has been kind of crazy. So that's that is out there. Tony said been with Evernote since beta, haven't figured out OneNote just yet. Justin says Teams and OneNote, but have been using those for ages. Kevin says mix modes work for some. Take notes on paper, scan into OneNote. You could do that. I've never been a guy to be able to take notes and then take a picture of it. That hasn't, I probably could do more of that, because there's the OCR technology has gotten so much better.
That's why I went digital, to be honest. That was the one reason. Was being able to search through everything.
Yeah. Well, anytime you change your routine, and again, for some, nothing's changed. In fact, you're busier than you were before. You're still at work and you're busy. By the way, if you're still at work, thanks for going into work. If you're still at work, there's a reason you're there, and it's probably because we need you. And so if you're the one,
it's a very good point.
I want to apologize on behalf of all the everybody who just said, I'm so bored at home now. I don't know what to do with I want to apologize for them, because they're dicks. Like, that is the biggest dick move I've ever heard in my life. Folks who have to go in still are working their collective asses off to get this done for us. And so if you're still going into work, thanks for doing that. If you're home, I get it. You're bored. Find some things. Listen, I'm busier. Find some find some things to do. Like we need to get busy. We need to get some things done. And, I know everybody's situation is a little bit different. And so I'm trying not to be insensitive to that, but we, Brian says everyone needs lead. So hold on, let's see if we get that to show up. There we go. No, that was Mark. Everyone needs lead. So I'm working. And Mark says critical infrastructure support here. No, we appreciate if you're having to go into work. I appreciate what you have to do to get that done, whether it's in healthcare or infrastructure or retail. Like that still has to happen and that's like for people who have to deal with people all day. My wife's working in, in a physical therapy office, and I worry a little bit about it, but it is what it is, and we've got to get through. So for those of you who are still going into work, appreciate that. It has been a whole new revelation. I think a third or maybe almost half of the United States has gone home, and it's like, and then we were talking in pre-show, I was looking at the numbers on Twitter, and 6.6 million Americans applied for unemployment this last week. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I think it'll be 10 million come next week. So we have a lot of folks out of work too. And I don't want to be insensitive to that as well. If you're out of work, I am sorry. Like I am hoping that we can get things put back together. And I'm hoping we're smart enough to be able to get this thing put back together and get the world rolling again. I'm just, there's a lot of things that can happen. Speaking of problems, Mike, I don't know if you saw this. I think this is a really helpful. Let me bring this up really quick. So there's a site called the Down Detector. Speaking of problems, like think about all the services over the last 2 or 3 weeks that have we're not ready.
I'm looking at you, Xbox Live, ruining my nights some nights. That one thing I just want to do is hop on and play some Call of Duty, and the amount of times it has been down has been crazy.
Okay, so I totally screwed up last week. I think is this 239? So 2 weeks ago, 237, we were looking at that map that had what I thought was thermostats. I thought it was monitoring people's thermostats. And so, but based on the temperature that they were keeping their house in, do you remember that conversation?
Yeah, I remember the conversation.
Okay, it wasn't thermostats, it was thermometers. It was digital thermometers that they would measure. So,
that's a big difference.
Yeah, it was a huge difference. Kind of busted me out on,
right.
Not really. He was very, very kind about it. And I was like, well, that makes more sense than what I was talking about. Now, I still like my scenario better. Why can't we use connected thermostats to right?
It's true.
I mean, I like that scenario, but it was thermometers. Yikes. I felt like such a jackass. So look at Xbox here. I want to make sure I don't misread this map here, but it does look, I think the red are reported problems. I have a problem. There's a box right here that you can click that says I have a problem. And then I think that's what these reports are tracking that's in there. So if you want to get some idea, the best time to game, Mike Wieger, when's the best time to game on this map?
I can't read it. It's
5 a.m. 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
5 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I was worried. Down Detector could have gone down for Cox for me. Like they're actually on the list.
They are on the list. Let's take a look at them.
They finally acknowledged, because I was worried, Jim, I was going to have a situation like you had a few weeks ago. My upload was in the tank. Like last night,
your upload or download?
My upload.
Yeah, mine too. It must be a system-wide problem.
Well, and so it's
you and me. That's everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's generally the trend. I think they're just giving people a line too, because so I'm on Gigablast. I'm only getting, when I say only, I know this is still a lot, but it's still half what I'm supposed to get. I'm getting 450 down, right? Which that is no problem for me. That's way more down than I actually need. Totally fine with that. But my upload, I'm supposed to get 35. Last night I was getting like 1 to 2. And because I tried last night, I finally had some free time. I haven't streamed on Twitch in forever. I was super excited. I got a new Elgato capture card in this rig, and so I was like super excited to use it. Got on, and all of a sudden Streamlabs OBS was like, I have no upload speed to work with here. Was totally down. But Cox finally did acknowledge via Twitter to me, not via chat. I went through like an hour and a half online chat with them. Chat is not the way to go, by the way, if you're going to do your cable provider. I was on, tech chat with them. They had me doing a bunch of stuff. I'm like, guys, I know what I'm doing here. Like, can we skip all
I
these
hate
steps?
that. I
Right?
hate
Like,
that.
I have actually bypassed my router. I went and plugged in 2 different laptops directly into the modem, did a speed test. I can confirm these are the numbers. It is not on my side. And it's not hardware. It's not QoS settings in my router. I don't even have a router in place right now, right? It's right. I took that out. But Twitter, they actually said, okay, we did just acknowledge an outage in your area. A tech's going to be out. I'm like, well, can you give me an ETA? Because like upload's kind of important. Because I was having video calls at work get all garbly too. And that's what I'm doing all day. So and they said, well, it's iffy. And then he gave it to me in like the 24-hour format. Like, I think hoping I couldn't read it. I'm like, all right, so 1:30, I'll check. I checked, it got a tad better. I'm up to like 8 now, but still not the 35 I'm supposed to be getting. I think, honestly, it's understandable, right? How many people now are at home slamming those home connections with data. And so it makes sense to me. But what's hard for me is they're not just straight up admitting it, because they even in the text chat on Cox's website, when I was chatting with him, I'm like, I just straight up asked him, I said, is this just because everyone's home? Is this just something I'm gonna have to live with? I'm fine with that. Yeah. And he said, no, our infrastructure is built to handle all of this and handle the surge, no problem. I'm like, okay, well then get the speeds up.
I know.
I was totally fine if you just said, yeah, you're right. It's because the slam, we can't handle it. Fine. I totally understand.
You think they're lying? Is that what you're saying?
100%. I don't think their infrastructure can handle it. Yeah, I think, and I don't think the tech's going to come out. I don't think I'm going to see any speed increase, right? I think it's just, but I understand. I get it. I just want them to say that instead of giving you the line.
Lie to me.
Right. But hey, at least it leaves me open to, well, hey, if you have the infrastructure, then hopefully my speeds actually go up to what I'm paying for.
Well, apparently possible problems now again, these are this is at downdetector.com.
And this is mainly for Cox's website, probably not for their actual service.
I don't know.
Maybe people are going here and reporting.
These are self-reported, right? This is self-reported problems. People are coming here and saying they're having problems. And it's not bad for everybody. Hulu is doing pretty well here. Well, this says possible problems, but there's a little spike in Hulu's numbers, but it's kind of staying under the. I
wonder if Chipotle's on there. Look at Chipotle. Chipotle was out today for lunch, and Twitter was just exploding and didn't know what to do.
Here's our friends at Amazon. No problems at Amazon. So those numbers are pretty low. There's an average number that goes across it. So maybe, again, self-reported and reliable or not, I don't know. But it would give you, if you're struggling with your service provider, at least you can go out there and click it. I kind of keep thinking, I don't want to be that guy that calls Cox and it's like, it doesn't work. Because one, I'm going to go through 45 minutes of troubleshooting.
For nothing.
Hey, disconnect everything from the router. Okay, plug one computer in. Okay, now then they're like, you have an old router. And I don't know, and I do actually, and it's theirs. Apparently, I thought I bought it. But they see it as theirs and they're like, you can just exchange it if you want. And I'm not paying for it. So I should, but none of their offices are open right now.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, are they going to ship me one? So anyways.
It's not the router though. I have their brand new panoramic modem that I pay them $10 a month for. And it's still, and like I said, I just plugged a computer straight into that modem and was still the same exact results.
Okay.
It's
it's it is it's a problem. Like I need, we're making it. I think I'm at 3 or 4 up. You remember we had that problem? This is like long before this pandemic.
And you're still that low?
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I've been 3 or 4. I need 10. Like that's what I pay for. I need 10. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Give me 10. Ugh. So anyways, it's working. It's working. Like we're making it today, right? I think our video is not bad. So I don't know what's going on.
Folding at the same time. We're just really being effective.
Well, I did pause my folding.
Oh, okay. Well,
I did pause. It was getting a little warm down here, and I'm like, oh yeah,
I'm still doing my duty.
I should. Yikes! Are you judging me?
I'm shaming you.
You are shaming me. I'm getting folding shamed. That's
folding shamed. Yeah,
Michael
just like I tried to storage shame you on Twitter with your unread box.
I know, and I got shamed at work for drinking coffee out of a paper cup. Like someone, I was doing a podcast, and
isn't like 90% of coffee consumed out of these plastic or like paper cups from like, well, think about Starbucks, like they're all paper cups.
Totally. Well, they're not reusable. So I had it on my desk, and I took a drink and I put it down, and somebody in the chat room was like, Jim, is that a paper cup? That's not reusable? How dare you? Sorry. I used it 4 times today. Does that count? Like, I did reuse it. I used it 4 times that day. I didn't get a new cup each time. So Michael Delaney says 6 million people out of work. That's 6 million people who could be doing a podcast. Could you imagine if everybody that was unemployed started a podcast? Joe says T-Mobile had a huge outage. Tony says lies, damn lies, and telecom providers. Yeah, those 2 lies and telecom go pretty well together. I guess Twitter also has a down detector.
Joe, Twitter just is. He's just saying search it, right? That's what I did today with Chipotle. I just searched Chipotle. First thing was everyone ranting about how the website was down.
How great would it be if that was aggregated a little bit better? Maybe some aggregation on that. Justin says my ISP is known for berating the upstream providers, and all our help desk people are in Australia and have a networking background. So tell them I'm a network engineer, and they go, oh yeah. Well, I try to do this all the time too, where I say, okay, don't make me do the dumb things. Like, I'm pretty good at this. Don't make me go through, unplug all your computers, plug one computer into the router. We're going to reset everything. And you're like, and then it's always like, it's your modem. It's always the modem. It's always, you need to, if you're, anyways, that, as you can see, I'm going to get super mad because I hate that. I just want the freaking thing to work. One more thing before we go. Let me show you a quick picture. We've talked about this before, but we've talked about this flight radar 24 app that's on my phone. And I've mentioned on the show before, I like to sit on my deck at night when it's nice outside. And recently been doing this with Samantha. And we can see the planes come over, and you can, on this radar, you can click on the plane. It'll tell you where it's coming from and where it's going and how high it's flying. And, even at the highest altitudes, 35,000, whatever, 38, you can see the planes. Which is just you see the lights, and it's just a fun little thing to do. Last couple of days, I've been opening the app. This is what I've been seeing, and no, the app is not broken. We are a flyover state, Mike Wieger. There is never a time in all the times I've been looking at the Flight 24 or the Flight Radar 24 app that I've ever seen this. It is just blank.
Nothing. Yep.
It's blank. This is bad. And now some great, there's been some great benefits from this. The pollution is way down. The skies are not, people are seeing clear skies in areas they haven't seen them in a while. China, just in China, right? They saw blue sky there. They hadn't seen that in 8 years. It was like, it's when the factory shut down. So just one more time. Look at that. It's
unbelievable.
It's nothing. And I just took this, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes before we started the show. So it's not like I was waiting for a time for that to show up. It's just there. So it's crazy times that we're going through. I'm hoping that 6 months from now, we can be through it. It's going to take us a long time to recover from this. This is not going to be a 6 month, we're out of it. But
you know what else is going to take a long time to recover? I meant to mention this earlier. We were talking about transitioning. People's backs. I was not prepared to sit in this chair for this period of time. And I guarantee you that is the same case with 99% of people out there. Not many people have the same quality chair at home that they have at work. Not many of them even think about it. Right? Not many people think, this is a different quality chair. My back's going to hurt. They're not meant. Chairs are rated for a certain period of time to be sat in. And this is just one of those knockoff cheap gaming chairs from Amazon. And while it's okay, it does great for my little short 2-3 hour gaming stints. I'm in this thing now all day. It's my work chair.
No.
Some people are sitting on couches. We talked about this a little bit last week. Don't be sitting on your couch. Don't sit on your bed even. Bed's the worst. That long sitting in those type of non-supported is not good for you. Even sitting in a chair like I have right here is not good for me for that period of time. Luckily, I haven't put it in. It comes with the the back pillow, right? You
Okay.
shove it right here. It makes me sit up real nice and straight, gets my back supported. So actually, when I sit with the pillow, it does a really good job. But chairs, the other thing about it is it's not an easy solve because they're so expensive.
Right.
Nice chair, a nice office chair that's going to be worth it. I mean, you're talking at least $300-$400, if not more. There are cheaper office chairs, but they're going to be
these 199 or these 119 chairs. First, I'm wondering, like, so I'm on OfficeDepot.com right now, and looking through. First of all, wonder if they're available. Like, you got to wonder. People got to be like webcams, like what other computer stuff sold out? Headsets, like that stuff sold out really, really quick. This chair, there's some cheap little over $100, $60. But I think this is what what you're talking about, right? Is more like work pro chair at $400.
Yeah, I'd say probably $200 and down are all going to be the same. Even $300 and down are probably going to be all the same quality essentially. Once you hit 300 and above is what I've noticed people say actually makes a difference.
Okay.
Because I've had one like the $150 ones, and first of all, your legs sweat because they do not breathe at all. I know. And then over time they feel great when you first sit them for the first week or so, and then that foam just is gone. You're sitting on the cardboard underneath.
I think you're right. Brian says Joe says monitors are in short supply. Brian says they're sold out everywhere. So it's a problem. I've been in this chair for a while. Like this chair I'm sitting in right now. I don't know.
Is it a nice chair or is it a cheaper chair?
No, I think it was $100. I think I think it was 100, and it's held up pretty well. I love it, but it's I kind of start wondering. You're kind of right now. I've been getting up every 45 minutes. I've been moving around a lot. I'm getting out and walking around. I am exercising. I may be stronger today than I was 3 weeks ago because I'm doing pull-ups and push-ups, and I've lost a little weight instead of gained it, which is kind of interesting through this. So I'm eating better because I'm not eating as much. I'm not snacking. I snack at work. Like I am a candy hound at work, and I'm just always looking for candy. I am on the hunt, like chocolate.
My food intake has been better, but my beer intake has just gone through the roof. I mean, just astronomical.
Oh, which is not bad. It's not. Is that a bad thing?
Yeah. Well, no, and yes and no, right?
Hey, are we going to get out and mow the lawn this weekend?
I am. That's the plan. I've noticed mine's still a little patchy, right? It starts out that first spring, at least from my yard, it like little clumps of green start to show up. So I just need to go and even it out. I've been kind of waiting. I was going to do it last weekend, but I decided to give it one more week, get out there and level things off. The lawn people just came the other day to lay down all the first round of fertilizers and things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna get out there and give her a shot.
Kevin said this a couple times, and I don't know how to pronounce this. How do you pronounce this company?
I don't know. Aeron?
Aeron, used Aeron chairs. We actually at Gallup get rid of office chairs all the time that you can just buy, and you get them for like $25. And the office chair that I have is the ugliest thing, but it is. I've had it for 5-6 years at work, and I love it. And it's just the ugliest fabric, no mesh, but I sit in that thing. I can sit in that thing hours, and I don't have any, because the problem's you start sweating, right? And that's just super uncomfortable when you're in a chair like that. So Justin, Tony says 3 to 465 near him. John says, okay, back to mowing. Did my first mow this afternoon, sharpen the blade. I need to do that. I need to sharpen my blade with this Dremel, and I need to do the same. I've got a Dremel, and I need to get that. I need to get that piece out. And I need to do it. I just need to get it done. I am hoping that this cold front that moved through tonight is short. I haven't looked at the weekend forecast, but I would like to get on my lawn this weekend, get out of this, get outside, and enjoy some sunshine. Although, to be honest, this week I've enjoyed more sunshine than I would have ever if I would have been at work. So,
what's the 5-day for Omaha look like?
Let's take
if weather.com ever worked for me.
My phone is the easiest, I think.
I agree.
The weather.com app on an iPhone is just dynamite. They say powered by Watson. I don't know. Is it?
It doesn't seem to be.
It is. Like I thought Watson was supposed to be smarter than just weather.
It's
I
supposed
mean,
to be a
weather
little
people
cold
are
this weekend.
stupid.
Maybe Sunday. Sunday's our day. Sunday is supposed to be 61, mostly sunny here.
Okay.
41 Friday, 49 Saturday.
30 Saturday night. 61.
Man,
50
then we
overnight.
get the next week. Look at that. 73, 78, 71,
Nice.
61. Next week looks gorgeous.
We get some showers late. Maybe time to put something down on the lawn, so it waters it in.
Yeah, my guys just came last week, so all good there.
All right. I think that's going to do it for this episode of Home Gadget Geeks. If you've been in the chat room, Justin, Joe, John, Kevin, Brian, Ken was out there a little bit earlier. I saw Ron, Alex, Andy was out there earlier as well. Michael, other Jim. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for being a part of what we do here. We got some, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we got some great stuff coming up for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of looking forward to getting through this with you guys. And so join us in the community. Make sure you're in the Discord group. If you don't want to use Discord, use Facebook. If you don't want to use Facebook, or find me on Twitter. All kinds of things going on, all kinds of ways to connect. I do appreciate the fact that you download the show or whatever, stream it, and listen to it every single week. And I know some of you are behind, which means you're going to hear me thank you 3 or 4 weeks from now. Some of you are catching up. You haven't been, because of time restrictions, you haven't been able to listen, and now you are. And if that's the case, welcome to a full show. Right. Maybe the first time you've listened to a full show. For others of you, you're under an enormous amount of stress. And I totally understand that, Mike. I can't tell you how many times I've thought about money it's every day. Like, mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie. I wake up thinking about it. During the day, I'm thinking about it. At night, I'm thinking about it. So I really had trouble. I mean, I have trouble sleeping as it is, but I've really had a lot of trouble sleeping. And I just went back to Rain on a YouTube video, and man, that works like magic, huh? Charm. Every time I do, I try to get fancy and do other apps and meditation or whatever. I just need Rain. Just play Rain. I have an 8-hour video.
Just play Rain and sit in that chair. You seem to sleep really well in that chair right there.
This is a good chair. I've taken several naps
right
in this chair. Put my feet up. This is the position. Well, I won't do it here, but the posture is feet up on the desk, and it makes this perfect. And the chair is just perfect. And my back, like, it supports everything just perfectly. Out cold. Out. I am super old too, but anyways, we appreciate you listening, and thanks for doing it. A couple of reminders before we go. One, don't forget the Patreon link if you want to support us during this time. If you can support us, awesome. If you were a supporter and you can no longer do it, no shame on that. Like, I totally understand. But if you want to get involved in what we're doing here, reach out. theaverageguy.tv/Patreon gets you that done. If you want to join the Discord group, theaverageguy.tv/Discord. If you want to send us an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. If you want to have us try out your beer or whatever, send it to us. Send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. I'll send you my home address. We bought one of those outside boxes for our boxes. So now we have that. I think I mentioned that. We have one of those plastic. My my FedEx delivery guy, he's kind of an older guy. And when I say older, maybe like 10 years older than me, so 60.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, could you raise it up a little bit? Like, I'm like, especially the HelloFresh box is pretty heavy. And he's like, he has to kind of slide it down. It's an awkward position. He's like, could you just raise it up a little bit? So I think this weekend I'm going to build a little stand, a little 8-inch stand that'll just get it up off the ground a little bit. But I don't know why I said that. TheAverageGuy.tv, both platforms sounded interesting. Both media and web hosting powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and you trust. And now Christian in his new environment has a completely redundant offsite setup going for him. That guy cracks me up. He sent me speed tests of the new infrastructure in his new location, which I won't disclose. And he was like, hey, it's pretty sweet. He's not struggling with 3 or 5 up. let me just put it that way. I got to find a way to get in on that deal. Check out, if you want hosting for anything, check out maplegrovepartners.com. Plans start as little as $10 a month. Support them and do it because he's a big supporter of the show. I mean, Christian has been here since the very beginning. And so if you're looking for hosting, you can't find it any more reasonable than that. $10 a month gets you a ton of stuff. MapleGrovePartners.com. Then don't forget to stream us on the app. Don't forget, that's HomeGadgetGeeks.com. And then don't forget during this time, if again, I've got these coupons for HelloFresh. If you need a free week, that would get you 3 meals, I think, 3 of 4, something like that. I make nothing off it, but that could help. Like, if you're struggling in this and money is tight, like, and again, I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm just trying to help you out on this thing. That could really help and maybe make a difference in a week. So let me know. I got a bunch of coupons. Jim@theaverageguy.tv. We can get you set up for a free week at HelloFresh if that's something you would like to do. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at theaverageguy.tv/live. We'll be back next Thursday. And with that, we'll say goodnight, everybody.